Once upon a time, in a world filled with stories waiting to be told, there lived a woman named Linda. At the age of 58, I find myself intertwined in a journey with my husband Mark, a bond that seems to have spanned a lifetime. It has been a journey of 33 years, to be precise. In the serene embrace of Cleveland, Ohio, we have woven together the threads of a tranquil existence, nestled in the heart of the suburbs. Once upon a time, our two little ones filled our home with laughter and joy. Now, they have blossomed into adults, each embarking on their own adventures in distant lands. I find myself observing their journeys through the snapshots they share and the rare Sunday calls that connect us across the miles. In the bustling world of corporate finance, there resides a man named Mark who has dedicated nearly 2 decades of his life to a single company, weaving his story into the very fabric of its existence. Once upon a time, I found myself in the enchanting world of books as a school librarian. However, as the seasons changed, I decided to embark on a new chapter of my life and embraced early retirement last year. In recent days, I have discovered a newfound rhythm in my life, one that dances gracefully between the nurturing of plants, the turning of pages in captivating books, and the occasional gathering for a noble cause alongside Mark, where I embrace the role of the devoted partner with a heart full of pride. Once upon a time, there was a charity dinner that would alter the course of many lives. It was an invitation that arrived like a whisper on the wind, sent forth by none other than Mark's superior, Gregory Nash. A name that had danced through my ears over the years, yet remained a stranger to my eyes. Mark painted a picture of a man who was sharp and traditional, yet carried an air of distance about him. He was the sort of individual who bypassed idle chatter, instead exuding a commanding presence that filled every room he graced. In the heart of the city, nestled within the embrace of time, an event unfolded at a private club, a sanctuary of elegance. The air was thick with the charm of yesteryears, where dark wood paneling whispered stories of the past, soft piano melodies danced through the atmosphere, and waiters, like phantoms of grace, glided effortlessly among the guests. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the gathering, I found myself enveloped in a wave of self-awareness, a gentle flutter of uncertainty stirring within me that evening. With great attention, I styled my hair, selected a navy dress that had long been tucked away in the depths of my closet, and applied a hint of lipstick that had remained untouched since the day our youngest walked across the stage to receive their college diploma. In the depths of my heart, a question lingered, elusive and ungraspable. Why did I strive with such fervor? It was merely a dinner, yet deep within, a yearning stirred, a desire to once more bask in the warmth of visibility. As we stepped into the room, Mark beamed with pride as he introduced me to his colleagues, each one a character in the unfolding tale of our journey. With a firm handshake, I engaged in the dance of polite conversation, all the while striving to maintain my interest as they delved into their world of trade and talk. And so, it was that Gregory made his way forward. He stood before me, taller than I had ever envisioned, his hair shimmering like silver under the light. His jaw was impeccably clean-shaven, and his eyes, oh, those eyes, had a way of capturing yours, lingering just a heartbeat longer than one might expect. His voice flowed with a serene calmness, yet beneath that tranquilly lay a certain weight, a careful deliberation that hinted at deeper currents. "You must be Linda," he said, as he reached out his hand in greeting. "Mark shared a tale with me about your past as a keeper of books, a librarian, if I recall correctly. In my mind, librarians have always been the guardians of hidden knowledge, the silent sentinels of untold stories waiting to be discovered." With a gentle curve of my lips, I offered a smile, warm and inviting. Only the finest among them. In the stillness of the moment, his laughter emerged softly, a true reflection of joy that warmed the hearts of those around him. He lingered in the shadows of the past, unable to forge ahead as swiftly as those who had come before him. Instead, he lingered for a moment, inquiring about the books that captured my heart and the authors whose words I held in high regard. He posed inquiries that had long been forgotten, delving into the depths of my soul, awakening the passions that once set my heart ablaze. As the evening unfolded, I took my place at the table, nestled between the lively spirits of Mark and Gregory. As the evening unfolded, the dinner lingered on, a tapestry woven with the gentle clinks of cutlery and the exchange of polished business tales. In a moment that felt almost serendipitous, a name floated through the air, one belonging to a local author whose work had captured my admiration. As I spoke up, Gregory's gaze shifted back to me once more. "I had no idea you were so passionate about writing," he remarked, a hint of astonishment coloring his voice. Just as I was preparing to speak, a sensation washed over me. His hand grazed mine ever so gently, a whisper of touch hidden beneath the table. Perhaps it was merely a chance occurrence, yet it hung in the air for a heartbeat longer than one might easily brush aside. His fingers brushed against my knuckles, a warm and intentional touch, before they slipped away into the ether. At first, my gaze wandered elsewhere, avoiding his eyes. As I stood there, a gentle rhythm began to echo within my chest, and I couldn't help but notice the warmth that enveloped the room, wrapping around me like a soft embrace. As my eyes drifted to the side, I caught a fleeting glimpse. He listened intently to another's words, as though the world around him had faded away, leaving no trace of what had just transpired. Yet, as moments passed and his gaze returned to mine, I noticed a gentle warmth in his eyes, a silent understanding that lingered between us. With a gentle nod, I slipped away to the loo, seeking a brief sanctuary to catch my breath and untangle the whirlwind of emotions swirling within me. It was neither the flutter of youthful attraction nor the grip of fear that held sway. It was a whisper of something deeper. In that moment, it was as if the world had paused, and I was enveloped in a warm glow of recognition. As I made my way back to the table, I found Mark engrossed in a lively discussion, while Gregory leisurely savored a glass of rich red wine. As I settled into my seat, he lifted his gaze to meet mine, and in that fleeting moment, our hands grazed once more, this time with a hint of intention behind the touch. It was a silence that hung in the air, unbroken and heavy, as if the very words we needed to say were trapped in a web of unspoken thoughts. There was no necessity for us to do so. Yet, in that moment, I sensed a change had taken root. In the stillness of the moment, there lay a whisper of tranquility. In a twist of fate, something unexpected unfolded. And though I whispered to myself that it was likely nothing, I could not ignore the fluttering sensation that awakened within me. It felt as though I had stumbled upon the very first page of a tale I never realized I had been longing to discover. In the days that followed the dinner, a serene calm enveloped the world, as if all was well beneath the tranquil facade. Mark returned to the familiar rhythm of his days, where each moment unfolded like the pages of a well-worn book. As dawn breaks, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee fills the air, poured into a trusty travel mug. Quick kisses on the cheek are exchanged, a tender ritual before the day unfolds. The hours stretch ahead, filled with the hustle and bustle of the office, where stories and dreams intertwine amidst the clatter of keyboards and the hum of conversation. In the gentle rhythm of my days, I found solace in the familiar tasks that filled my time. I nurtured my small rose garden, each bloom a testament to my care. I sifted through old photographs, each image a portal to cherished memories. And on Wednesdays, I meandered through the vibrant stalls of the local farmers' market, where the air was rich with the scent of fresh produce and the laughter of neighbors echoed like a sweet melody. Yet, despite all my efforts, the sensation of Gregory's hand grazing against mine clung to me, and the way his gaze had held onto me, as if he saw something familiar, was a memory I couldn't escape. It had been an eternity since someone gazed upon me in such a way, not driven by duty, nor by routine, but with a spark of true intrigue. Mark's affection for me was a certainty in my heart, a truth I never questioned. Yet, after 3 decades, love settles into a gentle hush, a comforting presence woven into the fabric of daily life. As I caught Gregory's gaze, a flicker of memory danced in my mind, something I had almost let slip away into the shadows of forgetfulness. Imagine the moment when the world shifts and you find yourself seen not merely as a partner, but as a woman in your own right. It's a sensation that dances on the edges of your consciousness, a whisper of recognition that stirs something deep within. In that instant, you are more than a title. You are a vibrant tapestry of dreams, desires, and individuality, woven together in the fabric of your being. Not long after, Mark returned home with news that stirred the air. A gathering was on the horizon. Gregory, it seemed, had extended an invitation to several couples from the office, beckoning them to his abode for a weekend of camaraderie and connection. His heart's desire is for all to experience a deeper bond with one another. "It's merely a casual affair," he remarked as he loosened his tie with a relaxed gesture. "Gregory was quite adamant about your presence. He mentioned how much he relished your conversations." With a facade of calmness, I attempted to mask the fluttering warmth creeping into my cheeks. Did he notice? Mark, however, appeared blissfully unaware. He merely nodded and vanished into the kitchen, intent on warming up the remnants of yesterday's feast. On that enchanting Saturday, we set forth to Gregory's abode, a charming colonial-style residence nestled amidst a serene woodland just beyond the city's embrace. The air, crisp and fragrant with the whispers of early spring, carried the gentle notes of soft jazz wafting from the open windows. The gathering was intimate, perhaps 10 or 12 souls, all weaving together in a tapestry of conversation, drinks in hand, as laughter danced through the air, echoing off the stone patio. As we approached the door, Gregory stood there, a picture of grace, yet infused with an easygoing allure. "Linda," he exclaimed, his smile radiating warmth. "You made it." With a sense of warmth, I felt his hand gently settle on the small of my back for a fleeting moment as he guided us through the door. It was a quiet gesture, yet it carried a weight of intention. Before my mind could fully grasp the moment, my body sensed it. As the evening unfolded, I felt an irresistible pull towards Gregory once more. We found ourselves by the fire pit in the backyard, the gentle crackle of flames creating a warm embrace around us. As the evening unfolded, Mark drifted away, drawn into conversation with a few of the other men, their voices mingling in the air. Meanwhile, Gregory approached, offering me a glass of crisp white wine, its coolness a refreshing contrast to the warmth around us. "You seemed distant earlier," he remarked, a hint of concern in his tone. All was well, or so it seemed. Yet within me stirred a reluctance, a hesitation to reveal the truth of my thoughts, how frequently I had revisited our last encounter. After a moment of contemplation, I finally spoke, just thinking. "In the quiet moments of my retirement, I often sense a strange kind of invisibility enveloping me." He paused, his gaze lingering on me, and then spoke with certainty. "You are far from invisible, Linda." In the soft glow of the firelight, his voice wrapped around my name like a whispered secret, delicate and profound. I turned my gaze to the dancing flames, their warmth caressing my skin. "You're kind to say that," I replied, a smile tugging at my lips. "It's not kindness," he whispered, his voice barely rising above the gentle rustle of the evening breeze. "It's truth." We lingered in silence, the world around us fading as we stood together, two souls beneath the deepening twilight. With a tender touch, he extended his hand towards mine. This moment was intentional, not a mere coincidence. His thumb glided over my fingers, tracing slow, purposeful circles that spoke of unspoken promises. The gesture lingered in the air, subtle and unassuming, like a whisper in a quiet room. I hesitated, the question forming on my lips, but it faltered, trapped in the depths of my throat. "You haven't done anything wrong," he said, his voice steady and reassuring. "And neither have I." I found myself holding my ground, neither withdrawing my hand nor leaning closer to him. In that fleeting moment, time seemed to pause, suspended like the delicate fragrance of smoke and jasmine weaving through the air. Then, as if summoned by an unseen force, a voice called from the patio, breaking the spell that held us. Yet, within me, a transformation had taken place, one that resonated deeper than before. It was not merely the desire to be seen that drove me, it was the awakening of something deep within, a gentle stirring that had lain dormant for years. As Mark and I departed that night, I felt Gregory's gaze upon me once again, a silent connection that lingered in the air. In the quiet of the moment, there were no words exchanged, just a gentle glance that spoke volumes, recognizing the weight of the past without a hint of remorse or burden. It was a look filled with pure understanding. As Mark journeyed home, the soft melodies of the radio filled the air, and he hummed along, blissfully content and blissfully unaware of the world around him. As I sat beside him, my gaze drifted to the moonlit road stretching out before us, a mysterious journey unfolding, though its destination remained shrouded in uncertainty. The week that followed carried an air of transformation, as if the very cadence of my existence had taken a delicate turn. Yet, on the surface, nothing seemed to have altered. Every morning, Mark would immerse himself in the pages of the paper, while I found solace in the rhythm of folding laundry, the sweet notes of old jazz wafting from our kitchen radio. Yet, beneath the surface, a quiet storm was brewing within me, threads of my being slowly coming undone. Perhaps it was all coming to light, though I couldn't quite tell. Gregory had remained silent, neither calling nor writing, though it seemed he had no cause to do so. In the tapestry of life, there were no vows woven, no digits traded, nothing bold to mark the occasion. Just a fleeting touch, a shared glance, an unspoken energy that hung in the air, refusing to fade even as the moment slipped away. Yet, as the sun dipped low on the horizon, Friday approached with a whisper of possibility. As the evening unfolded, Mark shared a tale over dinner, revealing that Gregory had extended an invitation to a gathering for a new client in the heart of downtown. "It's mostly for appearances," he remarked, savoring each bite of roasted chicken. He continued, noting that while spouses were welcome, he had a feeling you might prefer to skip yet another lengthy night filled with tedious business chatter. In that moment, I hesitated, my gaze drawn to the candle dancing in the center of the table, its flickering flame casting shadows that seemed to whisper secrets. The air was thick with unasked questions, heavy with possibilities. What if I truly desired to embark on that journey? The thought escaped my lips at last, catching me off guard as much as it did those around me. Mark lifted his gaze, a hint of uncertainty in his voice. "Are you sure? I could really use a night out." And so, it was that 2 nights later, I donned a soft burgundy dress, a silk scarf draped elegantly around my shoulders, and stepped into a serene upscale restaurant, where the low lighting and polished mahogany walls whispered tales of elegance and intimacy. In the midst of the bustling room, Gregory stood by the wine display, engaged in conversation with another. Yet, as his gaze fell upon me, a transformation unfolded. His face, initially devoid of a smile, held a moment of stillness, a lingering glance that spoke volumes, before a subtle smile graced his lips. Once we were all gathered around the table, he turned to me and said, "Linda, you look elegant." With a quiet nod of gratitude, I acknowledged him, mindful of Mark's presence beside me. Yet, beneath the surface, an unspoken connection flickered between us once more, a current that eluded the notice of those around us. The evening meal unfolded at a leisurely pace. As the conversation flowed like a river, winding through quarterly results, client expectations, and the ever-changing market, I found myself nodding and sipping my wine. Yet, my true focus lay in the delicate space that separated Gregory and me. This time, there were no fleeting touches or glances that might raise an eyebrow. Instead, there was a careful restraint cloaked in decorum. Yet, beneath that surface, a steady spark flickered, quietly illuminating the unspoken tension between us. Once the last sweet morsel had been savored, Mark slipped away to attend to a work call, leaving Gregory and me in a moment of quiet. He leaned in closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "I wasn't sure you'd come." With a hint of uncertainty, I responded. He gazed intently at my expression. It was clear. The thoughts had not left my mind. It was not a question posed to me, and I found no reason to deny it. With a soft voice, I shared that I had been married for the majority of my life. I yearned not to be the kind of woman who allows herself to be carried away by something frivolous. He nodded, and for a fleeting moment, I sensed he might retreat, yet he stood his ground. With a steady voice, he declared, "I don't see you as foolish in the least. Rather, I believe you've simply been silent for far too long." In that moment, a chord was struck deep within me, awakening a longing I hadn't realized was there, yearning to be expressed. "I'm not asking for anything," he said, his voice steady and calm. "Not tonight, perhaps not ever. But if you ever feel the urge to share, to truly share, I would welcome that. No pressure, just honesty." In that moment, I held my silence, my gaze unwavering. A few minutes later, Mark reappeared, and as the night began to draw to a close, we shared our farewells. Gregory extended his hand to Mark, a gesture infused with the warmth of professionalism. Yet, when he turned to me, his touch was brief, adhering strictly to the unspoken rules of decorum. However, it was in his eyes that a different tale unfolded. As we journeyed home, Mark filled the air with discussions of projections and budgets, his voice weaving through the silence of the car. As I gazed out the window, the city lights danced like fireflies, weaving golden patterns through the fabric of my mind. I found myself caught in a delicate balance, teetering between the life I had known so well and the one that was beginning to stir just beneath the surface. When we finally rolled into the driveway, Mark's hand found mine, giving it a reassuring squeeze. "Thanks for coming tonight," he said, a warm smile gracing his lips. It meant a great deal to him. I returned the smile, yet deep within, my heart was anything but at ease. For the first time in many years, I found myself lying awake deep into the night, not burdened by worry, but rather captivated by wonder. A week slipped by, then two. I moved through my days as usual, embarking on grocery runs, enjoying weekend brunch with a neighbor, and sifting through spring decorations tucked away in the attic. Yet, hidden beneath the surface of the mundane, there was a gentle and unwavering pull that beckoned me. Gregory, it seemed, had not made an effort to connect. He had not felt the need to do so. That dinner, that last exchange of words, etched itself into my memory. Though I struggled to articulate the feelings blossoming within me, I sensed they reached far beyond him. It was a journey into myself, into the woman I had hidden away beneath the weight of habit, loyalty, and the passage of time. One bright morning, as Mark stood in the bathroom, razor in hand and a tune escaping his lips in a rather off-key manner, I found myself at the kitchen sink. There, gazing into the window above, I was not merely looking at my reflection, I was truly seeing it. The face that stared back was not the same as the one I had known at 30 or 40, yet it bore a fullness that spoke of time and experience. In a moment that felt both genuine and familiar, something beautiful unfolded. It was an ordinary afternoon when my phone buzzed, breaking the stillness. A message from Gregory appeared on the screen. As I prepared to embark on a journey to the gallery opening you spoke of, set for Saturday at the stroke of 4, I can't help but recall your words about the Monet exhibit that has touched your heart so deeply. Should you find yourself there as well, I would relish the opportunity to wander through the vibrant canvases by your side. He had not sought an audience. Not once did he utter my name. It was merely a soft gesture, a path laid before me, inviting contemplation. With a gaze fixed upon the message, I lingered in thought, my finger poised delicately above the screen. That fateful Saturday, I chose not to share my destination with Mark. He was preoccupied in the garage, immersed in the task of organizing tools and grumbling about a troublesome leaky pipe. As I journeyed downtown, I found a spot to park near the Grand Museum, and with each step up the weathered stone stairs, I felt a curious blend of novelty and ancient wisdom. The Monet exhibit awaited, bathed in a gentle glow, where golden frames shimmered under the soft embrace of track lights and brushstrokes swirled in a mesmerizing impressionistic haze. I meandered through the space, lost in solitude, stopping before the enchanting water villas, allowing the tranquil hues to wash over me and soothe the depths of my being. And there he was. Gregory lingered by the window, his hands gently clasped before him. He seemed lost in thought, not on a quest to find me. He stood still, not in a hurry, but in a moment of quiet anticipation. When our gazes intertwined, a smile graced his lips, not born from hope, but from a shared understanding. As I approached him, my footsteps whispered against the gleaming floor. "Thank you for coming," he said, his voice carrying a hint of relief. "I wasn't sure I would," I replied, uncertainty lacing my words. "I wasn't sure either," he replied, his voice a mere whisper in the stillness. After that, words eluded us and we drifted in silence, wandering through the rooms, past the vibrant colors, enveloped in a quiet that resonated more profoundly than any exchange could convey. In a moment suspended in time, we found ourselves before a painting that captured the essence of a misty morning garden. The air was thick with silence until he finally spoke, his voice a gentle murmur that cut through the stillness. "I know you love your husband," he said, revealing a truth that hung between us like the morning fog. In that moment, I found myself not as a harbinger of fear, but as a gentle reminder that within you lies the freedom to feel deeply. And yet, as I spoke, a lump formed in my throat, a testament to the weight of my words. In a twist of fate, I found myself caught off guard. I had not been on a quest for anything in particular. Yet, therein lies the beauty of it all. This unexpected moment feels undeniably genuine. I turned to him, curiosity dancing in my eyes. "So, what now?" I asked, seeking answers in the depths of his gaze. He shrugged gently, a subtle gesture that spoke volumes. "That's not up to me," he replied, leaving the air thick with uncertainty. In a world where grand gestures often steal the spotlight, there existed a moment that was anything but loud. It was a subtle intertwining of souls, two individuals discovering a delicate bond in a most unexpected setting. This was a treasure that demanded patience, a feeling too precious to be hurried or labeled with haste. As we stepped out of the exhibit, the golden afternoon sun poured through the towering windows, illuminating our shadows in a dance of light. At the threshold, I reached out, my fingers grazing his hand in a fleeting touch. This time, it was I who chose to linger, savoring the moment. With a gentle sigh, I confessed my uncertainty about where this path might lead me. Our gazes locked, and in that moment, he offered a quiet reassurance. Perhaps, just perhaps, there is comfort in the unknown. And in that moment, it truly was. I journeyed home with the window rolled down, the gentle spring breeze dancing through my hair. There was no sense of deceit within me. In that moment, I sensed no betrayal within me. Instead, I felt a stirring, a vibrant awakening. That night, I found myself beside Mark on the couch, watching as he immersed himself in the pages of his newspaper. As I gazed upon him, truly gazed, a spark ignited within me, a yearning to converse, to share words that had long been left unspoken. Not of Gregory, no, but of the tapestry woven between us, of the little wonders we had ceased to observe. Once upon a time, we were shaped by our past, and there lay before us the promise of what could still be, if only we had the courage to grasp it. In the dance of connection, the most unexpected revelation often comes from being truly seen by another, illuminating the path to rediscovering our own reflection.